Get in the know. Non-stop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
3 teams have been 15-1 in the history of the National Football League. All right? Give yourselves a round of applause.
Yeah, that's right. And the Vikings, I wouldn't say they're on pace for it, but they're still qualified to go 15-1. So are the Eagles and the Giants in the NFC. The Giants? Just 6-1, the Giants?
So at 15-1, would they then go 16-1 or drop that last game because their fate would be, in a positive way, sealed at that
That's
point?
A good question. I don't.
So would they try to get the 16th win?
Have they played each other once already? Philly and New York? Because one of them's going to have to lose unless there's a tie, obviously.
Yeah, did the Giants only lose come to Philadelphia, maybe? I don't know. I don't know. Stay tuned. Maybe we'll look it up before the end of the episode.
I might go to my phone right now. It's unbelievable the stuff you can find on the phone.
It's crazy. The internet.
I don't know how you do it.
This is, by the way, pardon my smoke-filled oxygen tank here. The Seattle weather last week was the worst air quality in the world, so that's
cool.
Fun to grind through for a few days, but I think we're past the wildfires. Speaking of wildfires, this is a wildfire of Vikings entertainment here every single day on Purple Daily, presented by our friends at TCL. No matter what you watch, TCL has award-winning TVs for any budget, any space, all with stunning picture quality. And TCL makes more than just TVs. They offer mobile products, audio devices, home appliances. TCL brings you joy and simplicity through innovative technology. Saw a bunch more people showing us their cans of Surly over the weekend. No rest for the football cans during Vikings bye week.
And that's exactly the way it should be. And you know what? I was there with you. Ladies and gentlemen, I was there with you every step of the way.
Holding your cans.
A little before I die.
In the dark.
You know what? I'm going to tell you right now, the perfect marriage occurred the past 2 days at least, and that is the marriage of Surly Brewing and sports on TV. While you guys were out doing your bye week stuff, probably doing hikes, trying to, you know what I was doing? I was watching sports with a Surly in hand. And don't forget, too, a week from, Sunday, November 6th, we will have our viewing party. It's going to be Surly at their brew hall. It's going to be the Commanders and the Purple playing. So come join us. We certainly had a great time a week ago doing exactly that, getting together with the Purple Daily family. But in the meantime, enjoy those Surlies, because I certainly did.
All right. Every Monday, even when the Vikings don't play, it's time for our hottest Vikings takes. And yes, we will get to Packer Vent Line as well.
God, just beautiful.
Before the show is over. We probably get to it earlier than later on this Monday episode of Purple Daily. But we'll start with Judd. What is your hottest, strongest Vikings take on this Monday?
Okay, so a couple times this year, including Sunday, I have sat down at noon and injected an IV of Red Zone into my arm, and I basically don't move. And I don't really even flip channels because it's just Scotty Hansen.
And then you take shots at Declan for enjoying his bye-week Sunday.
For enjoying my life.
Why are you not sitting in the dark watching Red Zone?
Watching Red Zone. Scotty Hansen needs you.
You're one Sunday off all year. Literally.
But that's your Sunday off.
With record high temperatures in the Twin Cities in late October. But yeah.
Put a fan on, cool down, and watch some Red Zone with Scotty Hansen. Anyway, here's my hottest, strongest of Vikings take. And in some ways it shocks me I'm about to say this, but I guess on the flip side, when you watch these games, it's not going to be a complete shock because of the circumstances. My hottest take is this. And this is a statement that is going to be directly to Kevin O'Connell. Get to Philadelphia. This conference is wide open.
Is that a hot take, or is that just a...
Philadelphia. No, I'm saying that this team has the ability, with the conference being... I don't remember a year.
Is your take that they're going to play the Eagles in the NFC Championship game?
No,
get on their level.
I'm saying
get on their level.
Get to them. Play
but
them.
That's not a take. That's like encouragement.
I was trying to help them.
Get them in to... The take is this. This conference is winnable, and I didn't think it was.
Okay.
This conference is winnable. Go. Get to Philadelphia is you get there. Okay, you probably lose, but at least you're rolling the dice a bit. But the key to this entire statement is this. If you watch these games, this conference ain't good. In fact, it's worse than I thought. And your team, if the right moves are potentially made, including a week from tomorrow at the trade deadline, you have the ability to get farther than I ever envisioned. Because you know what? I watched the Giants. Giants are a great story. So are the Vikings. But the Giants don't scare me not one bit. I mean, the Vikings.
There's a conversation there. Like, they don't scare me yet either, but they probably should at some point.
Okay, but the point is, the Vikings and Giants are very much on the same parallel here. Like, they're in the same thing. The Vikings don't scare you either. But the fact is, they have positioned themselves, and so have the Giants, to make a potential run and certainly get good playoff seeding. The fact is, the more I watch this conference, there is a real possibility to do something special, given the circumstances of the fact that you're 5-1, and just as importantly, the rest of the teams in this conference are opening the door for you to take it. Does San Francisco scare you? I mean, Kansas City,
a little bit more than their record indicates, but
but they don't. But you don't say, "Oh, you can't beat them."
I think if San Francisco, this is going to sound crazy because their records are very different, but if the Vikings and San Francisco played on a neutral field or played in San Francisco, I think the Niners would be favored in both of those circumstances.
They probably would be, but the fact is you wouldn't be so afraid right now that you would say, oh my God, they've got no chance. I mean, Philadelphia right now is the only team in the conference that would actually, I'd be like, okay, you might not, or you're probably not going to get past them. But my God, the more I watch this league, by now you ordinarily see teams starting to crescendo up the hill as well, where you're like, okay, a month and a half ago, this team looked bad. Now they're looking pretty good. Conference doesn't provide a lot of that either. It's a very interesting dynamic now with the Vikings sitting at 5-1.
So just to clarify your hot, strong take.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you danced around it at the beginning. You are saying the Vikings can win the conference.
I'm saying the Vikings can win the conference. I tried to dress it up with get to Philadelphia because that's the team that I think you're going to have to go through. Mm-hmm. I was trying to go next level highbrow, okay. and you dumbed it down to.
I didn't dumb it. I clarified it because we're looking for a take, not a headline, a take.
You know what? We all approach this differently, and I would appreciate if at this time, after I have been.
The commenters have noticed that your takes are a little tepid on Monday. They would like a little bit more.
You know what? Okay,
you
can get to the. Okay, I'll dumb it down. You can get to the Super Bowl. Get to the Super Bowl.
Oh, there it is. Put that on a headline. Judd Zulgad, VikingsWire.com.
Yep.
All right, exactly. I'm going to go with this one for my hottest, strongest Vikings take. The Vikings have taken over the NFC North for at least the next 5 years.
Oh, wow.
The Green Bay Packers are a mess. Aaron Rodgers does not want to be there anymore. Mike Florio apparently went on some Wisconsin radio show this morning, or maybe he might have said this on his own. He probably said it on his own show because I think that's what's running live this morning. I just saw some Packer radio station tweet out. He is getting some intel that this is going to be Rodgers' last season in Green Bay. Mm-hmm. So they're going into completely unknown at quarterback. I don't know if we know a whole lot about the coaching situation there too, right? I mean, like, do we really know if Matt LaFleur can coach without Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback? The Vikings nailed their coaching hire. The Vikings have cornerstones at left tackle, right tackle, wide receiver, some other good young players on the field. They may run into their own quarterback situation at some point, but given the state of the rest of the NFC North, this is the Vikings division as of this Monday with such a big lead and such uncertainty with Green Bay and the Lions and Chicago. This is their division for the next 5 years at least.
5 years?
Fight me, yes.
The Bears are actually brilliantly tearing things down to build up, and they won't be bad for 5 years. The Bears will win at least one division title within the next 5 years.
It could, but I feel like every time the Bears do something like this, they peak at like one good season maybe, and then they come falling back down the hill and fire everyone. Like the Bears haven't had a 5-year sustained run of anything since maybe Lovie Smith, and that was very much like patchworking quarterbacks and whatnot. So the Bears don't scare me at all yet. They may have to reset quarterback as well because Justin Fields looks like a train wreck.
I think they might want to. I think that's
good news for my prediction then.
I think the desire is for the Bears to pop up in like 3 years. I think Ryan Poles wants this thing, but if he gets this to the right place, there's no question that the two contenders for the long term could be the Bears and Vikings. Detroit's just Detroiting. It's done.
They are, yeah.
It's done.
The Lions.
They were, and then Dan Campbell was throwing his headset after a crucial fumble yesterday.
He's a great special teams coach or a tight ends coach or something.
Yeah, I'd love to have that guy just on my staff, but not organizing the whole thing.
Yeah,
he's impressive in a room as a linebacker coach.
In the car, he's fine. With the keys, he is dangerous because you trust him and you shouldn't.
Yeah, he should sit shotgun, or maybe not even shotgun. He should just sit in the back middle.
Yeah, I put him in the way back.
Good commentary on the road trip. Maybe maybe picks up the snacks as you get to the gas station.
Hey guys.
Just that good guy. Yeah. Hey guys, got some beef jerky. It's all for me.
Thanks, Danny.
Yes. By the way, on that take, in terms of just like the landscape of the NFC, and this kind of blends in with Judd's too, only 5 teams above 500 in the entire NFC right now. And one of them is the Seahawks, who everyone thought might win a max of 5 games all year. But Geno Smith's been incredible, and they just absolutely they rolled yesterday against the Chargers. So the only teams above 500 are the Eagles, Giants, Cowboys. All of them are 6-0, 6-1, 5-2. Vikings at 5-1. Seahawks at 4-3. Rams are 500. Niners and Cardinals are below 500. The Buccaneers and Falcons are tied for their division lead at 3-4 each. Every team in that division is either break even or minus point differential. I wouldn't totally write the Packers off yet, but guess who they get next week? At Buffalo.
Bills. Yeah, primetime game.
So they're going to be underdogs for that game, likely 3-5 going into the middle point of the season. So yeah, it's kind of all sitting there. All sitting right there. Yeah.
All right, my hottest, strongest take. It's a little bit like Judd's. It's show me you're the best in the NFC. Show me you're the best team in the NFC. And over the next month, we're going to actually be able to see this happen. So at home, they come out.
That's not a take either.
Yes, it is. I'm saying, show me you're the best.
It's encouragement.
Show me you're the best team in the NFC.
A take is an opinion. I feel like we need to redefine what a take is on this Monday show for the group. Am I an idiot? Commenters, am I wrong? Show me you're the best in the NFC is not an opinion. It's encouragement.
And I'm encouraging that this Vikings team can be that. That's exactly what I'm saying.
I think the take would be the Vikings are the best team in the NFC. That would be a take.
They can
show
be
me
the
you're
best
the best team is encouragement.
Show me you're the best team in the NFC. You have the Cardinals out of the bye. You have 3 great
Just keep
teams
going,
out.
Declan.
Yeah, you have 3 great teams.
You guys are ruining the segment.
No, I think you.
Just
we're
keep
gonna,
going,
we're,
Dex.
Tony Reali. We're gonna mute Phil Mackey here. Okay, we're gonna mute Phil Mackey and deduct
you got
a
more
point.
power.
Okay,
I got no power. They took all the buttons
Vikings.
away from me.
They had the Bills, they had the Cowboys, they had the Patriots in a span of 11 days after they play the Cardinals. 3 very good teams, 2 of them at home, one in the most hostile environments in Buffalo. You can go into those situations and prove you're the best team in the NFC. Yes, the Philadelphia Eagles, I should say. The Phillies are going to the World Series. The Eagles right now look like they are the best team because they're undefeated and their offense is high octane, but also it's self-scouting week. Other teams start to figure them out a little bit. The Vikings are doing the same thing right now. Other teams get the book out on them. When they get the Cardinals, then they have the Bills, the Cowboys, the Patriots over the span of 11 days. Then all of a sudden, the Vikings win all those games and run the table. I think you're the best team in the NFC. There's no reason to say you can't be if you beat all 4 of those teams. It's a hard schedule. Luckily, most of them are at home. And you're only going to travel, I believe, like once to Buffalo after the bye, which is going to be actually a really good luxury for the Vikings. They'll play a lot of home games after this bye week. But show me you're the best team in the NFC if you win those 4 games out of the bye. You're unmuted now.
It's not a take. I found the definition of a hot take.
Yeah,
this is on dictionary.com actually now has hot take as an entry.
Wow.
A piece of writing or speech, especially found on the internet, giving someone's personal opinions about a topic, usually strong opinions that sometimes have not been carefully thought through, that some people are likely to disagree with.
Well, it sounds like you disagreed with it, and it sounds like that was my opinion, so that sounds like a take to me.
I'm disagreeing that you brought a take to the table. You brought encouragement to the table that, hey, guys, at some point, you might be the best team in the NFC. Let's go. I think maybe the take would be if the Vikings win their next 2 games, they will undoubtedly be the best team in the NFC, which I don't know. I just made that up on the spot. I need the commenters to let me know. Am I crazy? Are you guys shorting this segment on Mondays by not giving actual takes? That's how I feel this is going right now.
I feel like my take was that this team has the ability to go to the Super Bowl, which is a pretty
but you didn't say
take,
that. You didn't even.
Which is
you
a
didn't,
pretty strong take. I think somebody woke up on the wrong side of the bed
No,
this morning.
no.
A little
Yeah,
early
I
in
think some of them
Seattle, little crust, little gruff out there.
Yeah.
Your voice is screwed up.
By the way, if I'm correct
raging
me if I'm wrong,
wildfires.
Declan agreed with me on the tepidness of Judd's original take.
But I was more trying to get Judd to say, get on. He was trying to say, get on Philadelphia's level. Get on their level.
That's
Get
not
on
a
the
take.
level of being the NFC. Yes, it is. It is a take. Get on the Eagles level.
How is that an opinion?
What do you mean? How is that opinion? They're the clear cut the best
Let's
team in the
construct
NFC. You're trying to get up on there.
Get on their level is not an opinion. It's
Actually, that's
encouragement.
not what I was saying. What I was saying is
Roll the tape.
Is play them in the conference championship game because there's nothing stopping you because the conference is so crappy. So you can get to the Super Bowl. So like it's a reality to get within. There was a time when I did not think this team had a chance in hell of making a playoff run. Now that I've watched the rest of the conference and the Vikings, to their credit, 5-1, the window of opportunity here is far greater than I thought. And I mean that's the good news to me.
Especially
when I'm
after
watching these other
self-scouting
teams.
week. Self-scouting week should
Well,
put them on a whole totally
And
different
you know what, too? So I know teams bounce back, and I know there was the whole Rodgers thing back in the day of relax and all that. I watched that team, though. Something feels really off. Like the Packers feel
it's almost like their quarterback is weird and not committed.
Yeah, but I mean, before he would sort of decide, okay, I'm going to dial in or something. With the receivers that they have or don't have now, and with him just being continually disgusted, yeah, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like in 3 weeks it's going to be, the Green Bay Packers are back. That's just me.
Yeah, they might be able to sneak in with like 8 or 9 wins because of the state of the he's such a. This is going to be a good segue into Packer Vent Line here, but he's such a front-running personality. When things start to go bad, he rolls his eyes. His body language gets all weird. He's playing with a bunch of young receivers, and he does nothing to make them feel like, hey, dude, we'll be fine. He just gets pissed at them. Mm-hmm. And so I don't think that's the team with that quarterback. Yeah, the relaxed thing was a long time ago.
Yes, exactly.
It was a long time ago. But that's enough from us talking about the Packers. Let's hear from depressed Packer fans talking about the Packers here. Packer Vent Line on Purple Daily.
The whole NFC is up for grabs. And as we know, in 2010, we got in the playoffs and we won it all. So I understand our defense is a lot better then, but our defense is pretty good. They just need to get –
Well, we found him. We found him,
Coach
folks.
said they were soft.
We found him. Sugar Free is the lone positive Packer fan out there that is still going to try to spin this into a
how many
positive.
games are they going to win? That's all. How many games are they going to win? What do you say, Sugar Free?
They're going to make the playoffs.
How many
They're gonna make the
games are they going to
playoffs.
win?
How many right now? I say 10 or 11 for sure.
10 or 11. Okay, good. All right,
Love
there you
it.
go.
Okay, let's do the math on that for a second. The path to 11 wins for the Packers. So they'd have to go. It would be 11-6, right?
Yep.
They'd have to go 8-2 the rest of their schedule, including a game at Buffalo coming up next. They've got games against the Cowboys, at Philadelphia on Sunday Night Football, the weekend. I think that's the Sunday after Thanksgiving. They play the Rams late in the year, at Dolphins, and a game against the Vikings.
And the way they're playing, like what would lead you to believe that this dysfunctional group that offensively looks miserable? Like the whole thing. It's not just the quarterback. Everyone looks like it's pulling teeth. I think there's a better chance the Packers will lose as many games this year alone as they've lost combined the past 3 years, which I think was 3-3-3.
Yeah. Look at this. There's when you go to the Packers page on ESPN.com.
Yep.
There's a video with a headline from Ryan Clark. Packers can't win a championship. Now that is an obvious take, but that is a take right there. Packers can't win a championship.
You know what? There's no panache, no nuance. You know what? On this show, we like to think our viewers aren't dumb, because they're not. They're very smart. They
know what a
they
take
can
is.
handle.
They're smart
They
enough to
can
know what a
handle the
take.
panache of a well-crafted take, as opposed to a hit you over the head. Yeah, Vikings can win a Super Bowl. That's boring. I constructed it. Declan tried to construct it, and somebody in the Pacific time zone who was asked to wake up too early came and dumped cold water
I'm having a great day today.
all over it. Now,
He likes the morning.
Dex, please,
I
let me
haven't
go.
slept. I've just been waiting all night. I haven't even slept. That's how early I get up.
Let's go.
Am I too far out there in that I don't perceive this team getting to the Super Bowl because I haven't seen them play at a high enough level to this point that they could draw upon if they got into the playoffs. And therefore, I want them to play well going forward, but to lose games so we can get a high draft pick.
What?
You want?
I want them to play well going forward, but lose so we get a high draft pick.
Okay.
Jim in Saukville. That's Jim in Saukville in Wisconsin.
So does Jim just want? Okay. I won't even
Courtesy
try.
of WTMJ, by the way, in Milwaukee.
Yes.
I think it's hard for Packer fans to process this. We're like, they haven't rooted for tanking in ever. Like, when's the last time the Packers rooted for tanking? The 80s?
Well, there was one year. It was 2000. It was 2005. The Vikings and Packers were both really bad, and so they might have then for a draft pick. I think the Packers were. That was Sherman's last year and Tice's last year, and both teams were crappy. So there's a chance that in that odd year that there was actual attempt to say we should tank. But as a whole, like multiple seasons, the 80s.
Yeah,
they were really
like
bad in
Don
the 70s,
Majkowski
80s.
was the quarterback probably the last time these Packer fans. Let's go to, I believe it's YouTube for this next one here. Depressed Packer fans.
Oh, God.
What the actual... Like, what are you doing? Why are you this bad? Watching this team is infuriating, but, like, watching people go, oh, it's because no Devontae Adams. Oh, it's because of Rodgers. Oh, it's because of the O-line. Oh, it's because it's running back. It's one thing. No, it's all bad. Matt LaFleur, bad. Rodgers, bad. O-line, bad. Play calling, bad. It's all bad.
Does that guy just blow a gasket after every loss like that?
Seems like
Is that real? Or is he just, he's like a comedian, right? Is he a real guy just getting that mad at every Packer
I think it's
loss?
I think so. Yeah, he does like comedy stuff too. I think he, like Realistic Randy on our YouTube channel, he does, kind of skits and stuff like that. I think Tom Grossi does similar stuff for his channel.
Dude, it's going to be a long few years at the rate you're going right now. So hunker down.
There's a chance they could. The Titans are also a game on their schedule. And we always kind of overlook the Titans because they're kind of the AFC Vikings. It's like, they're like, whatever.
No, they could lose that.
They're always like a
Washington
9 or a
beat
10
them.
win team.
I actually, in watching that game yesterday, I came away more confident that the Vikings will beat the Commanders after seeing them win. So the Commanders won, and I watched that game, and I thought, oh, yeah, the Vikings, with a solid game plan, you can win this game.
I hadn't thought of it that way, but yeah. If I'm the Commanders, I don't ever play Carson Wentz over Taylor Heineke again this season, though.
Yeah.
There's no reason to. You might as well just get a look at Taylor Heineke at this point. I think Wentz is better over the course of a full season, but he's not your guy anyways after the year. Plus, Heineke just seems like a guy that you'd want to fight for as a teammate. Wentz seems like the opposite.
Yes.
Can't put my finger on it, but.
Yeah, except the fact is, if you have a good defensive plan, I think Heineke can be pressured into like 2 or 3 just huge mistakes per game.
Yeah.
That can result in points.
He seems like the next Case Keenum, like the next diet Case Keenum, Taylor Heineke. Like he seems like a guy that can really shipwreck a game, but also you fight for him.
Yeah, that's diet Case Keenum is probably a perfect way to describe Taylor Heineke. That is. See, that's a take. Do you see the difference between that and come on Vikings, go be the Eagles?
I knew what he was saying. I knew what he was saying.
We'll let the comment section decide if I am just being completely wackadoo this morning. But that is Packer Ventline on Purple Daily.
Go, Pack, go!
One thing we can all agree on here on the show is that Livia helps people lose weight.
Yes, that's right. And so I started on the program just over a year ago, 40 pounds down. And most importantly, they have helped me keep the weight off. That's the most important thing. And the best part is this. You know what? Because of the program, I'm more active, I'm healthier, I'm sleeping great. I mean, there's so many things that are instrumental to your health. And maintaining a healthy weight is one. Right now, if you join, you'll receive 8 weeks for free. So imagine by the time the playoffs get here, 8 weeks for free, you've lost a ton of weight, you're feeling great, now you're out playing with the kids, you're exercising, you're able to do things that you couldn't previously do, and with a flex program, it's going to let you enjoy the food you love. So like, this isn't a diet, it's not like huge restrictions, it's a sensible plan. Enjoy fruit, pasta, and even bread. 855-GO-LIVEA, Livia.com. Livia, Livea.com. Guys, it is the first step towards feeling great, Livia.com.
And since we're on the subject of food, let's talk about food for our pets. Because Nutrisource is the official dog food of Mackie and Judd of Purple Daily. On the YouTube channel right now, you see a little video of Maya Mackie licking her chops with a big scoop of Nutrisource chicken and rice hovering over her head here. We know Stella likes to get up in the morning and paw at Dad for both the treats and the Nutrisource chicken and rice. Very excited.
Yeah, I believe it was 5:50 this morning. And if you want to take Phil Mackey, I will give you a take, because Stella told me, that little girl right there, she told me, Dad, you throw out the rest of the food in this house. If it's not Nutrisource, it's not for me. Nutrisource is the only food I will eat. Take that to the bank. Get rid of the rest of the food. I said, Stella, that's the only food here. And she said, well, that's good, because I love the treats. I love the food. Nutrisource, endorsed by us, but probably more importantly, endorsed by our pets. That's the key.
Yes, NutrisourcePetFoods.com if you would like to get your Nutrisource for your dogs. And you can also find them, it's a Minnesota-based company, but you can find them in all 50 states. And a shout out to our friends over at, speaking of Minnesota-based companies, Federated. They've been helping business owners for over 100 years. They're down in Owatonna, Minnesota. And they're a bunch of Minnesota sports fans who I've met down there, too, that live and die with all the same things we do here on Purple Daily and Score North. Find out how they can help take your business to another level through risk management tools and resources by going to federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours. Okay. All right. It's very notably self-scouting week here during the bye. And so, well, for most people, for the players, it's generally don't get arrested week.
Yeah, Oli.
And one of them failed that test. Oli Udo, I don't mean to make light of a criminal situation, but of course he got called for holding off the field as well. So he got a misdemeanor for being weird in a bar with a woman or something. So he couldn't follow the simple direction of don't get arrested during bye week. Nice job, Oli.
I'm very curious to see what they do here, because this is an easy cut. Like, this would be an easy, hey, you know what? We trusted you. We shouldn't have. You're gone. But this this coaching staff, O'Connell and Kwesi executive staff as well, I'm curious to see what they do, because they don't strike me as a quick trigger pull, you're done here. This would be a great example to be made, which is a very old school thing. I don't know they do that, though. I don't know they do that, because they very much have tried to foster this, family. We give people chances. So this is going to be like the first, and it's a small one, but it's going to be like the first test of what the tolerance is with this new GM and coach.
Yeah, mine would be very low. Like, he's not good. I know that he can technically play tackle and guard, so technically he's a versatile swing backup player, but he's not good at any of those positions. So if he's also going to be kind of a weird bad guy who makes bad decisions off the field, I don't know. I know that you can't just find guys who are 6'4" and can play 3 or 4 different positions. You can't just find those guys on the waiver wire, but if not now, I would take a long look at him immediately in the offseason to say, I don't know, we don't need this.
It would just be, to me, this week, a very easy message to basically the entire building that, hey, we're just not going to tolerate this. Because right or wrong, it's perceived as a Vikings thing, right? That's the bye week. Someone got, and that's embarrassing. So Yeah, there's a lot of directions here, but it's going to be a good first test for O'Connell and Kwesi.
So on the self-scouting week here, I'm guessing Kevin O'Connell maybe took like an afternoon off to hang out with his family or something. He's probably just been grinding film for the last 7 days.
You think he took an afternoon off?
He definitely went golfing, so I know you're going to rip him for doing that.
It's a bunch of crap. Dude,
So what would you guys hope that Kevin O'Connell spent the most time on during self-scouting week and the Vikings coaching staff? And it probably continues into I don't know if they have an extended weekend for some guys on a Monday, but whenever they do their self-scouting up until the Wednesday, bring everyone back. What are some of the things that you hope that they took a long look in the mirror about?
I'll give you one for O'Connell personally, and I think that this is an area where he's done some good things, but there is definitely room for improvement, and that is his own play calling in games, which I've always thought that's incredibly tough. As a head coach, it's doubly tough because you're trying to pay attention to things. But, I think when we look at what the Vikings have done, we could certainly point at Kirk's stats being down. We could certainly point at Thielen probably, or most certainly not being the same player that he was a couple of years ago. But I think that there's also room for probably expansion of play calling. And it feels like it was, until the Dolphins game, it felt like it was going upwards. Like it wasn't perfect, but it was going upwards. The Dolphins game was sort of a setback, which the fact that you won that game and the timing going into the bye was actually probably good. So just from a standpoint of what you've incorporated so far, when you've done it, I think that there was a lot of ability probably to self-scout that and to come out of the bye firing a little bit more offensively, just starting with O'Connell. I don't know exactly what would change. I'm sure that there's a ton more here that he can do. He probably doesn't want to overwhelm the players, which at some point is probably smart. All of that being said, I think, being a first-time guy calling plays and trying to be head coach, probably a lot of room to tweak things and improve things. That would be my top thing.
Yeah. What about you, Dex?
I would like to see him kind of step in, and if this defense is not going to be trending in the right direction, can he take it by the hands and get some type of influence involved? So he went out with a game plan of Ed Donatel, run the defense here, okay? A veteran dude who's been around numerous defensive coordinators and defensive coaches, and good for him to kind of at least have, hey, I'm going to trust a veteran guy to take over this. But this defense right now is kind of just, it's bend and not break. There's definitely some warts here. If it continues to struggle a little bit, as a head coach, he is also going to still be responsible for the defense. It might not be his expertise. Offense is clearly his expertise. But can he step in and also kind of, hey, we need to make a change here. Don't just rely on Ed Donatel to be the man to fix your defense. As the head coach, you're responsible for all facets of the game. So if this defense is not getting to the ceiling it should be, can he step in when it's needed and fix it and do something to get it in the right direction?
That's the funny thing about some of these offensive coaches. I was watching Sunday Night Football last night, and they showed Mike McDaniels on the sideline so Pittsburgh was down by 6. And I think Pittsburgh had a couple different drives. It was the second to last drive, down by 6, and their offense is a total disaster. Kenny Pickett, poor guy, is just not ready to play as a starting quarterback in the NFL. But the Dolphins' defense is on the field trying to really save the game here by preventing the Steelers from scoring a touchdown. An offensive-minded head coach, Mike McDaniels, is sitting there literally just staring at his offensive play chart and trying to figure out, when we get the ball back, what plays are we going to run? If they score a touchdown, you could see him processing the offensive play chart, totally ignoring what's happening on defense. I'm not ripping him. I'm just saying that's the dynamic that a lot of these offensive-minded head coaches have, which is, all right, I brought in Ed Donatel to just deal with the defense so that I can study what offensive plays need to be called when we get the ball back after this defensive series is over. So I agree with Declan. I would like him to put, especially during a bye week, put his big picture fingerprints on this a little bit more. Pressure has been a huge issue for the Vikings through the first third of the season, although they did generate pressure on 45% of dropbacks against the Dolphins, which is great. Some of that might have been because they were starting backup quarterbacks, and who knows. But I don't know that I need him to be super attentive during the games, because I want the offense to be running at high octane. But yes, this is a good chance to do something big picture with the defense and say, all right, maybe we shouldn't be the fifth lowest blitz rate in the league or something. Maybe we should, I don't know, look to get Harrison Smith up at the line of scrimmage more often. Like, what are some creative things that they can do? For me, I'm going to go back to the offensive side of the ball for the thing I hoped they spent time on this week. The only team that has scored fewer points in the third quarter offensively than the Vikings, the Denver Broncos. We sit here and make fun of the Broncos for how atrocious their offense has looked all year. The Vikings are basically the Broncos in the third quarter. They're averaging 1 point per game in the third quarter this season.
Remarkable.
The Vikings have scored 7 points in the third quarter. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Or 6 points, I guess, because they've only played 6.
Too.
Mm-hmm. And you're coming out like you have a chance to take a deep breath, and I'm not saying you're going to like re-script everything, but some teams look to do stuff like that. So
right.
Why is your offense so bad coming out of halftime? Is there not some sort of planning you can do, something you learned from the first half?
Right.
And so that's why they're letting some of these teams back in. That's why you see some of these lulls. I mean, Philadelphia was begging to be beat in the third and fourth quarter of that game, but like they couldn't get out of their own way offensively. So come out of the gate firing. On the top end of this, the best third quarter offenses are the Chiefs, the Patriots, because they have the greatest head coach of all time who understands how to maximize halftime adjustments, and Buffalo. Those are your 3 highest scoring third quarter offenses. So you got the 2 high octane offenses with the 2 most dynamic quarterbacks, and then Bill Belichick. And those are your and they average about 9 to 10 points just in the third quarter.
Right.
So,
well, and I would guess too, to go back to my point, that play calling 1,000% plays a role there as well. So like you need to examine like that problem, because that's such a bad, that's such a low point total. That problem starts with coaching too. So it's not just like the players suck for a quarter. Yeah, that is a stat, especially too, because I mean your whole goal, as we've discussed a lot, is the middle 8. So your whole goal is to come out in the third quarter and start to dagger, not start to go away.
Yeah, and luckily for the Vikings, they've been so good with sort of the other clutch 8, which is the last 4 minutes of the first half, which is half of the middle 8, and then the last 4 minutes of the second half, which does not count as middle 8, but I would argue is just as, if not more important, because the game is on the line. Mm-hmm. They've been the highest scoring offense in those situations. So do they, this is just, armchair, football watcher guy opinion, do they need to come out with more tempo to start the third quarter? Just, hey, all right, well, tempo works for us when we go, last 4 minute drill of the first half or end of the game. Like, do they need to just come out with a faster tempo and go no huddle more often to get things sparked? I don't know.
Yep.
You got to try something, though.
Or are there adjustments being made by the opposing team's defense to them that is consistently, are they showing a tendency when they come out in the third quarter that's become too predictable, and so teams say, oh, okay, we can stop this, and they can for a quarter?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Yes, there are definitely things about the offense that probably don't have a lot to do with players doing things wrong. It's probably, and in O'Connell's defense, he's new at this. Like, play calling is hard. He's good, I'm sure, but it's hard. And so there are a lot of things. I would think that this would be one of the most, not to be cliched here, one of the most valuable self-scout weeks that the Vikings have had in recent years.
Yeah. I agree. It's also hard to make in-game adjustments. That's like the number one thing that fans complain about, right? Where's the adjustments? It's such a vague complaint, but it's hard. It's a fast-moving game. The opposing team is also making adjustments. You have to diagnose like little things that may be happening, and for a first-year head coach, maybe you're not going to be great at that in your first 5 or 6 games, which we've seen so far. So. Before we get to what are you doing, Guy, any other self-scouting things that you want the Vikings to make sure they handle this week?
I hope that they also had their GM spending substantial time on the phone because you know what? If you're ever going to please Declan Goff and make a trade deadline deal, this would be the year. This would be the year. So in addition to grinding film, I hope nobody went golfing. In addition to grinding film, I would think if you were ever tempted to make a trade to bolster your team, that when you did what I did on Sunday, and you watched games, you said, "Oh my God, yeah, yeah, the opportunity here is real. That would be my hope.
Yes. I don't think OBJ is going to be a Viking, but is there something else you can do? Right. Defensive tackle, tight end? Is there some other move?
Well, or is there a receiver available on the trade block who can stretch the field to help Jefferson out?
Yeah.
Like, that's your stat last week on Thielen. To me, what was an eye-opening stat about why it's you don't have to respect him as a downfield threat. Like, he's still a threat. Don't get me wrong. He's a good player. But what if you had another guy who was a downfield threat with Jefferson, and now you've got to sort of pick one of them? I'm just saying there's areas that this team 100% can improve. It's a very flawed 5-1 team, but it's a 5-1 team, and it's not like the rest of the conference is like coming after them.
Yeah.
Well, you could separate yourself.
Yes, and their receiver group, I think, looked a lot stronger on paper 6 months ago than it looks in reality right now. I mean, Justin Jefferson is every bit as good as advertised. But, if you thought maybe Thielen healthy can still be like a top 20 wide receiver, he is not one of the 20 best wide receivers in the league anymore. But maybe KJ Osborne will jump up and kind of be the number 2 if that happens. It's like, well, that hasn't happened either. And those guys are like professional NFL wide receivers, but they don't really have a dynamic number 2 receiver right now. They have a reliable set of red zone hands in Thielen, and a guy that can still like run some savvy routes. But what is he, 32 now? Something like that.
And he's been hurt a lot.
Yeah. So they I agree. Like, if they could find a burner that, maybe only plays limited snaps, but you've got him out there to stretch the field, and maybe he takes some snaps away from Thielen and KJ Osborne, or you just run 4 wide receiver sets once in a while. That sounds like a good time to me offensively. All right, guys.
Football.
2 headlines here. Headline number 1. This all feeds into what are you doing, guy? Headline number 1. Panthers blow out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Panthers, by the way, who just fired their head coach and traded their best player. Almost shut out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then this headline from yesterday, from Nesson. Giselle hires lawyer who handled Tiger Woods' divorce 10 years ago.
Boy.
Tom Brady. What are you doing, guy? Why are you still playing? What satisfaction are you getting out of playing this NFL season while your family and marriage crumbles around you?
You know what we finally found out? And we're seeing this in progress. And it's sad, but really interesting to watch. We're finally finding out what can distract the greatest QB of all time. This is, he can't take this. And I don't blame him. Like, his life is crumbling. I think he called her bluff. I think he said, I'm going back. And she's, she clearly had said, don't. And I think he thought, oh, you know what? She'll adapt. They'll adapt. Because, his whole life has been about people adapting.
So he thought she was bluffing.
That's my guess, is he thought she was bluffing, and she wasn't.
Why even gamble on that? You're 45, dude. You've won every Super Bowl for 20 years. You've got every possible record, and you're going to gamble your marriage on this random 2022 season?
Look at this man. This is his drug. This is his drug. This is as lethal as any drug to the fact that he can't quit it.
But he's got like doesn't he have like a $400 million broadcast contract where he can still be around it? It can still be competitive for him. Go get ratings and be better than Tony Romo and be the best analyst. It's like, dude, you've got $500 million in broadcast money coming your way.
Dude, he's 45 and he looks like he weighs $160 right now.
He looks like me.
Yeah. I mean,
That's serious.
He does.
He's crazy. Like, he's crazy. His need to compete and to continue, but you can see in him playing, this is the breaking point. Like, it's too much for him.
But he's playing what this isn't even therapeutic. I could see for years how it's just like, it's my place that I go to escape my terrible life. That's the other thing. What are you escaping, dude?
Yeah.
If it's no longer a haven for you to love what you do, which obviously it's not. I don't know, man. You're 45. What's the point anymore? What do you have to accomplish anymore?
Well, I think it's also intriguing though that he retired, and I think he thought that Dolphins thing was done. and that he was going to go to the Dolphins. That blew up. And then the Buccaneers, I'm guessing at his insistence, fired Arians and hired Bowles. So I think he pulled the strings and he thought, oh man, it's working perfect. It'll work like I want, like it always has. But I mean, yeah, he looks miserable. That team's not good. I watched a bunch of that game. I mean, come on. The Carolina Panthers are, in just a purposeful free fall, and they accidentally, like you said, damn near shut them out.
I'd love to know, and maybe there's been some reporting on this that I just haven't read yet, but at what point did Giselle say, all right, enough is enough for me? What did Brady come back to play football because their marriage disintegrated and he just needed something to do? Or did she at some point when he got the itch again say, dude, if you go back and play football, I'm out? And he called her bluff, or he thought he was calling her bluff. At what point and why did she finally say, I'm good here?
So he took, a week and a half or 2 weeks off in training camp to clearly go spend time with them, her and the kids. So my guess is that's when he realized she was serious. And he probably thought, I'll take time off from camp. I'll fix it. He didn't. But yeah, I think this is basically football, and trying to win is his cocaine.
Here's more from this Nesson article. Things are very nasty between Tom and Giselle because of the lawyers. They're ready for a fight. Tom and Giselle are not battling over the kids. They both want joint custody. But it will take some time to divide their immense wealth and property all over the world.
Well, how much does she? I mean, she's probably made more than him, right?
Would you rather have more time with your kids or a couple awesome condos in Italy?
Well, I don't have kids, so I'm going to tell you right now. I'll take
depends how good the kid is. Like what? Yeah.
Yeah, and
oh man, that apartment in Monaco overlooking the ocean. Why don't you take the kids, honey? I'll just be over here watching F1 races from my window.
Hell, I'd take a place in Manhattan and be pleased with that. Little brownstone, those are nice. I like those. I'd love to have a place there.
Brownstone,
little brownstone.
Brownstones are great. Those old school ones. Oh boy, fix those up. I don't have the kids, so I don't want the kids. Honey, you take.
What's your hottest take about brownstone?
They're worth millions of dollars. I love them. Love them.
That's not a take.
There's no hot take for it.
That's an estimation.
That's a fact.
Yeah, and there's no hot take. Like, there's no hot take for it.
You just gave takes for 40 minutes. And then when I ask you for a take, you're like, I don't have no more takes
I like
for you.
them. I like them. That's
there you
go.
That's a take. I like brownstone.
Oh boy.
I like brownstone is a take. Brownstone is expensive is not a take. It's a fact.
So anytime I always play, like if you won the lottery, where would you live? Like I always do like 3 places. You have to do 3 places. I've done this on like first dates. I've done this with other people. It like you won the lottery, you can live in 3 places.
Okay.
My hot take is they all would still be in the U.S.
Okay.
They would all still be in the United States. I'd have one in New York.
Okay.
I'd have one in Big Sky, Montana, and I would have one in Hawaii.
Have you ever seen that ABC show Big Sky?
I tried for 20 minutes and I said, I got to the second commercial break and I was like, nope, I'm out.
We're like 3 seasons in. I could never live in Big Sky anymore.
Yeah.
I think the people of Big Sky are probably not happy about the way that their town is being portrayed as a bunch of creepy murderers and drug dealers and things, but it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
So
that's my hot take on lottery. Yeah.
Is the date going well or not when that comes up?
That's where there's been a little quiet and there's a little silence. All right, I need to throw something in here. What can I do?
No, this is your trick play, basically.
Yeah, it is.
What's my Philly special here? A conversational Philly special.
Philly. All right, in my head, just there's a headset with guy like, all right, Declan, go with the lottery 3 places. Go.
Okay, let's. We need to spark something here. Order a couple martinis, and
she doesn't want another drink, so I could go with the 3 play question. Go.
Oh no more drinking. I'm out of there. I'm like, see you, bye.
Oh man. Well, it might be a good time for you to fade Tom Brady on Prize Picks, the easy way to play daily fantasy. You can pick between 2 and 5 players and an over/under on their projections, and you can win up to 10 times on any entry. Prize Picks offers every major sport: NFL, NBA, MLB, etc., NHL, mixed martial arts even. You can run mixed sport entries too. So you could do like an under on Tom Brady and then like an over on Karl Anthony Towns whining at officials or something. I don't know if they have that. Use the promo code NORTH, and Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Promo code NORTH, Prize Picks matches up to $100. Prize Picks app and prizepicks.com. All right, that's your Monday episode here, your hot take kind of episode of Purple Daily. And if you guys have things that you'd like us to self-scout on the show, let us know, and we can do that this week before we get back to the Vikings schedule against the Cardinals this weekend. See ya.